This video series covers the basics of working with our Central software suite. If you don't have Central up and running yet, you may want to check out our Getting Started video for more information. This tutorial covers the use of file storage. The file storage application within Central is used to save recorded data to the local computer. While it has a relatively simple user interface, this tutorial will cover all of the options available. Before we begin, it is important to note that the file storage application has multiple versions that serve the same core functions, but require different parameters based on the research environment. Clinical researchers are required to use our NeuroPort Central suite, and therefore required to use the TOC version of our file storage interface. For other researchers, there is an option to choose between the TOC interface and the 2.x interface. This can be accessed in the options menu of the main Central application under the File Storage App Interface section. This tutorial will cover the use of the 2.x file storage app interface, while our NeuroPort tutorial covers the use of the TOC interface. The file storage application is organized into a few panels. It has the data type controls on the left, file name parameters in the center, recording parameters to the right, and a recording information overview on the far right. The file options panel on the left side allows us to control which data types are actually saved to disk. Notice that a file with a different extension will be saved for each sampling rate. For example, all channels with a sampling rate of 1000 samples per second will be saved to a .ns2 file. Any items that are grayed out have not been configured on any channels using the Hardware Configuration app. Unchecking a box here will prevent the data from being saved to disk, but will not prevent it from appearing on any data views such as spike panel or raster plot. After choosing which data type should be saved to disk, the save name and location can be written into the editable text box or selected in Windows Explorer using the Browse button. Generally, it is best to save data to a dedicated internal drive, such as the large D drive that is included in our Blackrock host PCs. The file name would be automatically appended with the number appearing on the right side of the file path field. If auto increment is checked, this number will automatically increment between recordings. In addition to any other comments placed into the file, we can input a file description that contains information about the recording that you would like. This will be saved into the file's metadata and can be viewed later using our data loaders. Some of the most commonly used file storage options are shown under the Additional Options panel. Checking the Record For checkbox will allow one to define how long the recording should go before automatically stopping. Enabling Remote Recording Control will allow control of the recording status using either the serial or digital inputs of our data processors. The parameters used for these ports can be defined using the Setup button next to this option. Finally, file specification can be adjusted using the drop-down. Generally, if you are a new user, there is no reason not to use the newest file specification, as it simply contains additional options for information to be saved. Older specifications are available for customers that have set up data processing pipelines based on a specific file format. The elapsed time indicates time since when the recording was started. This will only differ from the recorded time if the file was paused for any reason. The Spike Count field counts the number of spikes across all channels, and the Packet Count field counts all packets received from the NSP. File size, in megabytes, is updated periodically and indicates the cumulative size of the files on disk. Section indicates how many sections the file has been divided into due to pausing. With no pauses, the file should only be one section. Finally, the available megabytes is the space available on the currently specified drive. If the drive becomes low on space, file storage will issue multiple warnings before reaching the end of the disk. In addition to these commonly used on-window options, there are additional options in the Options menu of file storage. Enabling Sync Pulse will send a rarely repeating bit pattern out of digital output 1. The bit sequence is sent out every 14 seconds and has enough unique representations to last an hour. This sync pulse can be used to synchronize the NSP with other devices by recording the bit pattern on each device separately and then aligning the data to the unique pulses in the data. Inverting the sync pulse will simply flip the voltage transitions of the sync pulse. The Remove Noise option will reject all waveforms classified as noise from being recorded to the file. Waveforms are only classified as noise through the use of auto-thresholding or when defined during online spike sorting. The classification of noise units is covered in our online spike sorting tutorial. The Sync with Neuromotive option is checked by default and allows Central to communicate with our video tracking system. Neuromotive to allow simultaneous recording, control, and playback. Generally, this should stay enabled. The options for automatic file splitting shown at the bottom of the window are only used in our TOC interface. For more information on how to use these parameters and the other options available in the TOC interface, feel free to check out our file storage NeuroPort tutorial. Now that all of the options are set for recording, we can simply click the large red record button to begin the recording. After beginning the recording, many options within this window in Central as a whole, such as sampling rate, will not be able to be altered. During recording, the options to pause or stop the file will be available. The stop option will simply stop the recording and close all file writing. The pause option creates a new header in the file and therefore splits off data into a separate chunk that can be seen when using our data loaders. In addition to the file type specified in the File Options panel, every recording will also include a Central Configuration, or CCF file. You may recognize this from our other lessons on Central. This file contains the configuration of Central so that the experimental setup associated with this recording can be easily set up again by simply loading the CCF in the main file menu of Central. That concludes our tutorial on the 2.x version of our file storage app. For more information on the TOC interface, be sure to check out our other tutorial on file storage. For additional information on any of our products, manuals can be found at www.blackrockmicro.com.